Yes, good morning. Good morning. Wonderful, wonderful. Viewers, welcome to this edition of Bystanders at the newsstand. I am Krista Chuku. We are right here in Ogba to get people talking on the topical issues that we have today. Today is the 13th of April, 2022. Today is Wednesday. I will say once again, welcome to this wonderful edition of the program. I have my competent analysts here this morning. They are here to do justice to the newspaper headlines. It is rowdy today at the bus stop because of the match yesterday between Chelsea and Real Madrid. Many Chelsea fans are not finding it easy at the bus stops. Many have bowed their heads in shame over they are not being able to qualify for the semis at the Champions League. Once again, welcome to this edition of the program. I have with me the Daily Trust newspaper. I have the Daily Trust with me newspaper, and I also have the Nigerian Tribune. The Daily Trust and the Nigerian Tribune. What does the Daily Trust have for us? Local government polls, local government elections. APC sweeps Katsina. APC sweeps Katsina. PDP clears Adamawa. APC sweeps Katsina. PDP clears Adamawa. Bad SIM cards won't be unblocked without NIN linkage. Bad SIM cards won't be unblocked without NIN linkage. So you must link your NIN for your SIM card to start working perfectly for it to be unblocked. So that's from the federal government. From the federal government. The main headline this morning: survivors recount the day of terror in Plateau villages. Survivors recount day of terror in Plateau villages. Muslims, Christians among victims. Arsalan said they were after men. That's from a woman. My father was killed because he could not run. My father was killed because he could not run. Invaders came from neighboring Taraba. Invaders came from neighboring Taraba. Okay. Look at the picture on the Daily Trust this morning. People stranded at a National Identification Management Commission Center at Alausa. This is in Alausa, Ikeja, Lagos. People stranded people in front of National Identification Management Commission NIN Registration Center at Alausa, Ikeja in Lagos yesterday. On killings, northern elders asked Buhari to resign. Is it enough just to ask him to resign? Northern elders asked Buhari to resign. 3 remanded for kidnapping 70-year-old woman from Lagos Mosque. 25 killed in fresh Benue attacks. 25 killed in fresh Benue attacks. Again, Senate passes Peace Corps bill. Let's go straight to the Nigerian Tribune. Yes, again, 25 killed, several missing in Benue communities during night invasion. Benue communities are fighting in difficult. Night invasion, 25 killed. Osun Guba, Oyetola, Adeleke, Yusuf, Ogumbi, 11 others make INEC final list. Oyetola, Adeleke, Yusuf, Ogumbi, 11 others make INEC final list. Okay, insecurity again. Northern elders forum asked Buhari to resign. Kidnapping attack, terrorists asking outrageous ransom from victims' families. That is from the government. Terrorists are asking outrageous ransom from victims' families. That's from the government. Perpetrators of Plateau killings must not be spared, Buhari has said. Perpetrators of Plateau killings must not be spared, Buhari. Nigeria bleeding over banditry, terrorism due to lack of education. ASU, Nigeria bleeding over banditry and terrorism due to lack of education. Manufacturing agri sector to suffer shocks in second quarter. Manufacturing and agri sectors to suffer shocks in the second quarter. That is from Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, LCCI. Lassa fever fatality rises to 90.1%. 681 confirmed cases in 23 states. Let's look at PDP zoning. We are not pursuing northern agenda. Saraki Tambuwal Mohammed. We are not pursuing northern agenda in PDP. That's from Saraki Tambuwal Mohammed. Ugwuanyi insists on fairness, equity, justice. Ugwuanyi insists on fairness, equity and justice. Zoning committee submits report. Zoning committee submits report. Nigeria should avoid repeating mistakes of 2015, 2019. Peter Obi. I won't submit myself to zoning in APC. Yaya Bello. I won't submit myself to APC. That is from Yaya Bello. I have Mr. Matthew. Good morning, Mr. Matthew.
Good morning, Mr. Chris.
It seems this zoning of the thing, zoning is causing problem in our parties today. Yes, Yaya Bello have said I won't submit myself to zoning in APC, and we are not pursuing another agenda. Sarakita Mohammed, they are talking of the zoning, the presidency to the southeast.
To be quite honest with you, looking at the constitution, I don't think there's any relevant section of the constitution that compares any political party to zone its presidential position to any of the contending zones. But like we see, this said the other day, there's a tacit agreement. It's understandable that if a particular region rules for 8 years, it's understandable that the other region should rule. And if you look at it in that manner, you understand that the North have had several shots at its presidency. Looking at the time of military rule, the Northerners occupy the government house more than the southern part of the country. They're looking at this democracy, this latest democracy from 1999. You understand that it is a statement of fact that the South had it for 8 years, and it came to Southwest here, which was the time of Obasanjo. Subsequently, it went back to North, Yar'Adua. Unfortunately, Yar'Adua could not finish his tenure, and he spent about 2 years or so. Then a Jonathan emerged, which is South and South-South. So if you are looking at based on justification, I think the Southeast is more justified to occupy Asura come 2023. But that notwithstanding, there's no law that compare APC or PDP or any other political party for that matter to zone its candidacy to any geopolitical zone. But I think what is paramount to PDP is to win election, just as what is paramount to APC is to win election. So if the overall interest of PDP is beyond where the candidate comes from, and their interest extends to how to win election, I don't think PDP will zero in on Southeast. Except otherwise, if APC is equally zoning into Southeast. Because if PDP zones into Southeast, as good as it may look, to address the imbalance and marginalization that have existed for years. If PDP zone into Southeast and APC, a candidate emerged from Southwest, the North would prefer to form alliance with a Southwestern candidate, which is an APC candidate, against a Southeastern candidate, which is a PDP candidate. So that is what I'm saying, whether the interest of PDP is to have its zone to Southeast, or their interest extends to winning the general election.
Zoning will favor the Southeast in both parties.
It will only favor the Southeast if the two leading political parties, APC and PDP, zone into Southeast. But the situation where only PDP zones into Southeast, PDP would have lost the election before the contest.
Okay, are you saying the Southeast, no Southeasterner is it does have the what it takes to beat any other candidate?
In terms of competence, there's no argument. We have people who are eminently qualified in terms of competence to lead the country from the Southeast. If not any other person, P2B is qualified by experience, by intelligence, by all his past endeavor. He's qualified to rule Nigeria. But looking at what determines who win the election in Nigeria, you see that he's unlikely going to emerge victorious in the general election. If you look at the issue of geopolitical zone, like I've earlier said, that this North would prefer to form alliance with a Southwestern candidate. So if that happens, that's why I say the election would have been lost. Then You look at resources. He may have the resources, even if you don't have the resources as a person. There are people who will be willing to fund it. But this one is beyond funding. The major issue is how you articulate your interest to get the northern part of the country buy into it.
Okay.
So for me, PDP need to define their interests. Whether their interest is just to zone it to pacify the Igbos, or their interest extend to winning the general election.
Okay. Nigeria should avoid repeating mistakes of 2015 and 2019. That's from Peter Obi.
I think he's speaking based on giving the position to incompetent persons. Because all along, we have been having people who are not competent running and manning the affairs of Nigeria.
I think Buhari is not competent.
If Buhari is competent, we would have noticed it in the affairs of Nigeria. If Buhari is competent to address the security challenges, we are talking about over 70-something being killed in Plateau State. And from what I've just read, the operation started around 11 a.m. and it ended around 3 p.m. or thereabouts. And all we are seeing is reactionary.
That is in the daytime.
Yes. No proactive measure to forestall it, to address it. So if Buhari is competent, I think you would have addressed it. If Buhari is competent, before the issue of power generation, as we speak, this government made about 4,000 megawatts in terms of transmission. I can understand that they said before they came on board, we already had the capacity to generate about 12,000 megawatts. But the issue is, if Buhari is competent, how come we have not been able to achieve some level of sustainable power supply after almost 8 years in the saddle? I don't know how you want me to define competence. If Mr. President is competent, he's talking about rice cultivation, diversification of the economy through agriculture. And as we speak, go and look at the value of rice in the market compared to 7 years ago. So if he's competent, why will the economy not be coming? Why will the price of rice, for instance, that is essential, not be coming down? Now, another issue is, go and look at Nigeria now. Before this government came on board, it is on record that we were consuming between 40 to 35 to 40 million liters of PMS a day. As we speak, the records show that we are consuming 70 million liters of PMS a day. Under lockdown during COVID-19, it is recorded that we consume an average of 50 million liters per day. And I doubt those figures. If Buhari is competent, will that be what we'll be discussing today? So I don't know how you define competence. Or maybe you want me to come from it directly to say Buhari is not competent. But what I'm asking is, if Buhari is competent, most of all these issues, if not completely addressed, we would have seen signs that these things will get to the end in a short while. As we speak, if you live in a place like Kaduna, a place like Plateau, a place like Niger, a place like Katsina, his own home state, Zamfara, you sleep with your eye open. If you sleep and wake up, you need to go to church to give testimony, because there are people who sleep and they didn't wake up. And we have security agencies in place. DSS, by our standard, have the responsibility of intelligence gathering. I was saying here the other day that DSS lost their best hands to kidnappers in Lagos here, when they stormed a kidnapper's den to rescue people who were kidnapped. No. People who were kidnapped in our area. The kidnappers arrested them and killed all of them. That is when you saw Nigerian Air Force bombarding our area the other time. So we have said it here the other day that a 27-year-old Philip Wanton was kidnapped in Niger Republic, taken to Sokoto. American security agencies came to Sokoto to rescue the boy unharmed. That is competence. That is competence by our standard. American government under Donald Trump went to Iraq to kill Soleimani, that military diplomat from Iran, and they did it professionally. That is competence.
Okay.
So I don't know how you talk about competence when you talk about this government.
There's something that
for me,
I
think the honorable thing to do is for Mr. President to resign.
Okay.
Because the way and manner Nigerians are dying under his watch, I don't think we can continue like this.
The notary has asked Buhari also to resign.
No, so many persons have said it. So it's not new if you are asking him to resign. But I hope he will do the honorable thing to resign. And let us, because from the way he
There's nothing he can do again.
he have exhausted all he know how to do. I saw when the Minister of Information and Culture, La Mohammed, was defending the government that they are not overwhelmed. How can you define a government that is overwhelmed when the Constitution tells us that the welfare and security of the people shall be the primary purpose of governance? Is there any area of this country, any constituency, where in terms of local government, state, ward, that the welfare of Nigerians and their securities is guaranteed? Obviously, no. So what we are saying is, if you know you cannot deliver on the job, you resign. When Mr. President was contesting, the credentials he tender he submitted showed that he's a general. And when Tinubu was campaigning for him, he was talking about when we are in this type of crisis that we should look to a general. Now look at 6-7 years in the saddle. Mr. President inherited Boko Haram. As we speak, he swapped added to it banditry, which have now metamorphosed into terrorism, have added to it, and he have not been able to curtail any of them. Don't forget that when in Buhari's inaugural speech in 2015, he did order the then Chief of Army Staff, Burutai, to relocate to Maiduguri until Boko Haram is completely subdued. Under his watch, we saw ISWAP, we saw bandits that have now metamorphosed into terrorism, terrorists. So for me, Mr. President should throw in the trowel because he has failed in the major area of governance, which is security of welfare, which is the welfare of Nigeria and their security.
No matter what you say, the bad SIM cards wouldn't be blocked without NIN linkage.
I support government totally on that. The reason is not far-fetched. I personally paid 2,000 naira, no, sorry, 1,000 naira before I got my SIM registered.
And you paid to print it out also?
No, I'm trying to make a point. As at that time, you will see queues in almost all the centers where they are doing the registration and the linkage of where they are doing the registration. But it got to a point where if you go to the centers where they are doing registration, you seldom meet anybody on ground, which is an indication that every interested Nigerian, every interested subscriber have registered their SIM card. So anybody who have not registered his SIM card or who have not linked his SIM card to the name is doing it personally because he's not interested. So and we are seeing that the government is struggling, finding it difficult to address the security. If this is one of the areas that will give them the much needed edge to checkmate the activities of the kidnappers, bandits, terrorists, I think we should help them by being patriotic enough to register. So, and the good aspect of it is that government is not telling you that you cannot register. Even as they bar you from making call, you can still register. So me, I encourage government to bar everybody that refuses to register, so that let know who and who is not ready to help government to address this insecurity.
Okay, you like the way government is going about it?
I like the way they are barring people who refuse to register, because they refuse to register not because they didn't have the privilege and opportunity. And even as we speak, the window of registration is not closed; it's still open. So if you feel the only people I feel
yeah,
for,
there's queue. The crowd is much.
If you listen to what I said at initial, I said before the government came with this order, they have shifted it severally. And before they came with this order, if you go to centers where the registration is taking place, you will not meet anybody on ground. I'm talking out of experience. I'm not saying it because I want to support government. So people who didn't register before now deliberately did not want to register. Perhaps they thought they thought the government would not take it serious. Now, it is even a good thing that the government still leave the window of registration. So they should avail themselves of that privilege of registering and bear the brunt of not being able to call because of their negligence to utilize the window of registration initially. Then again, the only area I would say that the government should be lenient is there are some people who have registered who try to link it to NIN who did not succeed. That is not it is not their fault. So those ones should not have their phone lines bad. But anyone that deliberately refuses to register, deliberately refuses to link his line to the name should be bad, and he should go and look for how to address it, since the opportunity to register is still there.
Lastly, let's talk about Plateau State. People are saying that there is an ethnic or cleansing in Plateau State.
I think it is neither here nor there, because the information is still sketchy. You read that story, you see that the people who came for that dastard act said they were after the men. So by indication, it has some semblance of genocide. And you understand that the crisis in the place at Kaduna is an 8-long thing. So if I jump into conclusion to say it is Fulani, it may be speculative. But all we know, this nature of killing, attack on Plateau, on Kaduna, it is often perpetrated by the Fulani. Though saying it now is speculative because nobody has been able to verify who did it. But we know that when things like this happen, it's always from Fulani extraction. But whether it is Fulani or whoever have done that it is government that have failed. Because government own the people a responsibility to protect life and property.
Okay, thank you very much.
It's on that basis we are calling Mr. President to resign, because he has failed woefully to protect life and property, which is a cardinal point of a part of governance. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I have my brother here. Good morning. Let me 5 minutes.
No, don't do that.
You are a floor member, so
I'm an early bird. I came early this morning, but you see, don't let us do
look
that.
At the crowd. For this NIN thing is turning to something else. The approach of government is still saying that for the bad SIM cards, you won't be unblocked until you link your NIN.
Thank God that they gave them second chance. Because I'll say it, the process of this NIN is not upright. It wasn't the normal standard, the global standard we're supposed to have. You said we should go and get NIN. We go to Ministry of, I think it's Interior, it's under Interior. We go to all these ID card offices that issues all this NIN. When we got there, it was corruption among the staff everywhere. Frustration, it wasn't free. Frustration, you'll be frustrated before you can even have access to. Who are the people doing that? The staff of this NIN office and the civil defense. I knew what I went through. I had to fight my way out. In to that their office. You will see who know who. That is when the connection of who you know comes in. You see soldiers bringing in their relatives. You see police bringing in their relatives. You got to stay. I have to open up. How about we that we don't have security men? Why are you people are lying? So we form a cartel among 2 or 3 or 4 of us. That was when we started raising voice and our voice was heard. So we entered again. They had to down the system. They attended to some few people and they purposely, they intentionally down the system so that we will need to now be forced to do the needful, to bring money out of our hands. So you see, all the segments of this country, right? It's all about corruption. Federal Ministry of Corruption, Ministry of Corruption, instead of Ministry of Internal Affairs, it's Ministry of Internal Corruption. Ministry of, what's it called? Ministry of Women Affairs, Ministry of Women corruption. Everything you have to attach corruption to. All the ministries we have in this country.
Corruption is making all these things happen.
It's making, that's it. It's making. Some people must have been trying, but got frustrated. If you get to where you get your NIN done, if you don't have mind that the zeal to get things done, you'll be scared and you'll be frightened.
Those that work office hours might not have the time to even wait.
Yes, those are the factors. But if everything has been coordinated well, you see, it will have the process will have just go smoothly, or went smoothly. But that time, civil defense was making their own money. The staff of those NIM office, they were making their own money. They believe we are their cash cow. So the masses that will come to them, they make it. Some of them build house from all this. Yes, now some of them build house.
Wow,
build houses, man.
Okay, let's look at Northern elders asked Buhari to resign on the killings.
They know the needful to do. It's not by mouth you tell somebody to resign. They have the population, majority of they have the majority population in the National Assembly. They should go and lobby their representative. The Northern elders, they know what it's not about just the word of mouth. For him to resign, have you ever seen any even councillor resigning in Nigeria? Not to talk of president. So it's not the word of the mouth. You go and lobby your constituency, in which you have the largest number of constituency in that National Assembly, then they will now know what to do, which is, you can help me out with what they will do. The National Assembly, how do they remove president? That is impeachment. They should know that. They know that. They can't just be
all the thing, they are making
talking.
Noise.
They are just talking. They are not walking the talk. You know, they are not walking the talk. That's the issue there.
Okay, let's look at survivors recount today of terror in Plateau villages. It seems there is an ethnic cleansing in that area.
Been there for long. It has been there for long. I was fortunate to be in Plateau. That's Plateau State. Particularly area called Barinkadi. Barinkadi is like if you get to like Ojota, you know, you entering Jos. It's like Ojota, where you have all this different motor park to the different destinations. So I went with Ifesinachi also, Ifesinachi, this thing. So they have their park there. But the problem there is with Ifesinachi, with any, you know, buses that come from the south here, you will still see all these Fulani boys. They are the one collecting toll. They are the one charging all this. I can say they are the Hagberos there. The problem of the south, the problem of the Plateau is a particular military head of state. So divided that south, split south into the northern region and the Muslim region, Islamic Muslim region, and the Christian region, which is the just south and the just north. When you get to just north is as if you are in mini London. When you get to just south is as you are in a cave. You are in Afghanistan.
That is the side for Christians.
The side for Muslims.
Muslims,
yes,
like Afghanistan.
Afghanistan. And we got the tourists that time to take us around. He was now showing us where these people, these troublemakers, where they come from, right? I can't say they are just Nigerians, purely Nigerian. A Nigerian Muslim will not behave like that. A Nigerian well-behaved Muslim will not behave like that. We don't know whether those guys are different people entirely. Every year, every time there's a festive mood, maybe Christmas or Easter, this is when these things happen. That was what we were told then, that this is anytime there's going to be any festive mood from the, you know, Christian festive mood, that's what they always onslaught terror on the, you know, people there. And it's so shameful. It's so shameful that it was one past military head of state that caused all this havoc that is happening now. That let everybody they were living together in harmony. They were living in harmony before. Okay. They were living in harmony. They were living in harmony until that past military head of state came into power, and he brought up another local government for these people that are causing mayhem now.
Give me one reason why you want Buhari to resign.
A lot of reasons. Number one, he's not in control. He's not in total control of the government as it is now. Number two, there's been a lot of blood. There's been a lot of bloodshed. I don't know whether he's so glad to be seeing Nigeria being maimed and killed on the street, shot on the street. Then thirdly, he should resign because people are suspecting he's pampering these bandits, he's pampering these terrorists, he's pampering this what's it called? So we want him out because the job that he swear to hold for is turning to enormous job for him, in which he could no more handle. And when you are tired, even when you are a professional player, football player, when you are tired, they have to remove you, substitute you. So Mr. Buhari should go, and if once he's tired, don't let him force himself on what he cannot do again. Nigeria is not working well. He has tried his best. He should go and, sit down somewhere and, become his ex-head of state, because he's been saying he can no longer wait to be called ex-president. So he can easily usher himself, retired himself, so that people will still give him that glory that he's the only first president that will ever resign.
Thank you very much, Mr. Akunle. I have my brother here this morning. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Thanks for your patience. Come closer to the mic. What's your name, sir?
Sharafa Yuadewale.
Okay, we are talking, what we discuss on general issues. As it affects you, as it also affects me. We know that currently we have 203 in the corner, and many people are bracing up for who our next leader is going to be. What do you expect, sir?
And what I would say is that anyone that we are going to vote into power should be the one that is competent. Because somebody who is not competent, if the person is voted into a position, there will be a problem. Because the problem we are facing presently now in Nigeria is as a result of that. If we have voted for the right person in 2015 and 2019, we will not be facing that problem now. So what I would tell Nigerians is that let us sit down and look at the profiles of all the candidates and select the most competent.
What is your definition of competence?
Anyway, my definition of competence is that somebody who is qualified, to handle a post. Now, when I mean qualified, I mean somebody who knows the country, somebody who is not going to be biased, somebody who can stand his ground in the face of opposition, not somebody that can easily be influenced by his tribesmen or the religious leaders. I mean, somebody who can stand and do what is right.
Without bias.
Without bias.
That's a track record.
Yes.
Somebody that have handled personal business before and have succeeded.
Yes, on the one hand, because sometimes managing a business is different from managing business. Is quite different from managing people. One of the problems we had before this one came into power was that we were saying he was a man of integrity. Now, because probably because he was the leader of the PTF, he was able to manage funds successfully. Not money. There's a difference between manager and leaders. So what you need, the person within the power is somebody who is a leader, who knows how to lead people, who we have listening here to the cry, the pain of his followers.
Okay.
For example, now look at the present leaders, the present set of leaders. One of the issues that the president gives the most urgent attention to in Nigeria is any issue that concerns Fulani herdsmen. Go and check record. So to an extent, it's been tribalistic.
Nepotism.
So we want somebody who is a Nigerian, Not somebody who is a Yoruba man or an Hausa man or an Igbo man. We want a Nigerian.
Do you have any candidates? Looking around, do you have any candidates?
Anyway, the thing is that when it comes to issue like this, I don't have a particular candidate for now. But as time goes on, I will select my own out of them.
When you look at the Nigerian system,
yes,
you think that even you have a good person as a leader, would that person change the system? Because one person cannot work alone. You need the cooperation of many other persons.
Yes.
Would one person change the system?
Yes, it's possible. One person can change the system if he's ready to work.
We have the cabals in Asorok. We have cabals in other states, different states.
But the cabals are not greater than the constitution of the Federal Republic. For example, the Bible says in the book of Romans, it said, "Let every soul be subject to the highest authority." Now, the highest authority in every country is the constitution, not the personality, not the president, not the Senate, not the House of Representatives. Now, anybody who wants to rule must hold every Nigerian accountable, responsible to the constitution.
You know Babalola.
Babalola, which of them? We have many Babalola. Yes, I've heard Babalola.
He said the 1999 constitution is 40.
The what?
The 1999 constitution is 40.
Anyway, I'm not an expert in law, but that is what people have been saying. In fact, I understand that one of the Senate members stood up in the floor of the House and said, the problem we are facing presently is this constitution. That's what they have been saying. And the thing is that if you know that something is faulty, why not make effort to amend it?
Yeah.
So it's just that the people we have there, both at the Senate, the House of Rep member, the executive, they are just there to defend their own interests. If truly they have the interests of the masses at heart, they will take them.
I want to make a point. I want to make a point that one person,
yes,
one good person,
yes,
as a leader, as a president, cannot
yes,
change the system. He needs the cooperation of others.
And that is why every president or every person in power is given the opportunity to select people that will work with you. Now, when you select somebody, you appoint somebody to work with you. If the person is not performing, you fire the person. Simple. So when you are called a leader, as a leader of an organization, the work stops at your table. If things goes well, you will receive the credits. Anything goes otherwise, you should be blamed for it. You'll be blamed for it. So any person who knows that he can handle that position should come up. Let's put him in and let him select the people that he can work with. And if you know that somebody you have selected or you have appointed is not doing well, you fire him. For example, look at this issue of this Minister of Information. What's his name? Pantami or so. At the time he was alleged, it was reported that he was involved in terrorism.
He has sympathy with
yes. Now look at the way Garba came out to defend him. So if the president wants to be a man of integrity with regard to that allegation, he was supposed to relieve that man of his position. So what we are saying is that the person we have in power, let me say most of the leaders we have in Nigeria, they are not competent enough. When you, for example, let me give you the example of this man in Anambra State. I'm not saying he's the most qualified. Peter Obi, when he was there, he changed a lot of things. I listened to one of his programs where he said, anytime he wanted to travel, convoys of cars, many cars would want to follow him. Then he told them that I'm the only one traveling now. I don't need all this. So probably reduce convoys from like 20 to 3. By that, he saved money. Even though sometime he wanted to travel to Abuja, they said they wanted to lodge him in an hotel. He said, I don't need an hotel.
Thank you.
We have
Anambra launch. Anambra State launch.
Can you see the way the man did it? So the man he work. If every leader could be faithful like that, no, Nigeria will change. At the time somebody saw one of his children on the road, trekking, looking for a job while he was in power.
All his children are in public school.
The man said, I'm the one that Nigeria, Anambra indigene voted in, not my children. So my children should fight for themselves. That's how things should be. But these people we have in power now, they are not doing like that.
Is Buhari competent?
From all indication, it's not competent. From all indication, it's not competent. For example, from all indication, it's not competent. Now, let's look at it from the aspect of security. Before we came into power, though there was insecurity, but under his watch now it has increased. Before he came to power, we only had Boko Haram in some part of the northeast. Now, S-men, terrorist S-men, we have bandits. In fact, part of Niger State now, one of the closest states to Abuja, the seat of power has been taken over by bandits. So, from the angle of security, it's not competent. Now, let's look at the level of...
Is a general?
Forget it. You can be a general by name. Simple. But can you be a general by action?
By practice.
So yes, we are not talking about the certificate you have or your qualification. We are talking about what you can do, your output, what you can deliver. Now, look at the level of unemployment. It has increased to about 35% now. Are we saying it's competent? Dollar is now about 600, close to 600 naira per dollar. Are we saying it's competent? Now, when this man came in, before they came in, they promised us that they were going to build refineries every year. This is the 7th year. No single refinery has been built
by the federal government.
By the government. So when they came, they told a lot of lies. And no man that tells lie can be said to be a man of integrity.
No man that tells lies can be said to be a man of integrity.
So the promise they gave us, they will build refineries, they are going to reduce fuel price, everything.
What of the train?
That trade. Anyway, let's thank God for that. Let's commend him for that. But he's trying now. They are trying. Let's commend him for that. He's trying in that area. But I'm praying that what the money they spent to build the train, the money they spent to build the train, that 10 generations of Nigerians will not be paying the money back for where they collected it. Are you getting me now? Building a railway line is a welcome development. We appreciate them for that.
Okay, lastly, I want to ask you this question. Who do you think is more qualified to hold that presidency now from the various regions?
From a various region. Anyway, let me speak from this. The one who is most qualified to hold it, let me say God knows that. But let me say this. In the spirit of fairness and justice, that post should go to Southeast. Since 1999, a southwestern Nigerian has ruled, somebody from South has ruled, somebody from the North has ruled. And if you look at everything, the Igbo people have been marginalized. I'm a Yoruba man, but in the spirit of fairness and justice, let that thing go to the Southeast. So at least let's see what they can do. Although people are saying if an Igbo man is voted in, they are going to divide Nigeria. I say it's not possible. It's not. No, a single man cannot divide Nigeria. We have sent their Senate there. We have the House of Rep member there. So single person cannot. So in the spirit of fairness and justice, let's give it to them.
Lastly, what do you foresee 2023 general elections? What do you foresee?
What I foresee. Anyway, I'm a man. It's God that sees tomorrow. He said, I'm Alpha and the Omega. I know the end from the beginning. So my prayer is just that was the peace, that peace of God. There will not be bloodshed. So I'm praying that God will visit us and give us somebody according to his own hearts, that we have the fear of God, the love of the masses at heart.
Thank you very much. I have Mr. David. Mr. David, good morning.
Good morning to you, Mr.
Happy.
A very wonderful morning to you and to our viewers.
Why is your voice like this? Somebody say I should ask, why is your voice like this?
My voice. You know what? There are a lot of things now. Mr. Christian, you know that you should not be asking me. You know that you are my G. You know. Oh, but let's move on.
Go help us.
Amen.
Okay, let's look at I looked at the documentary, this school feeding program in my state, Abia State. I looked at that documentary. I saw a report, 12 billion naira spent
on school feeding.
I had to contact people in my place. This thing, they just do it once in a week. And they say they spend money every day in feeding these school children. What the government is doing, how transparent are they with all these reports?
Thank you, Mr. Christian Chukwu. I believe on this note, Nigerians no longer trust this government of the day. Even if the government does something that will benefit the ordinary Nigerians, people still don't believe and trust in this government. I see now, I'll put it to you now. This school feeding, how many children is this school feeding benefiting? Yesterday, before the school, because schools is currently on vacation now, I went to all Bagama School here, and I had to interact with one of their vice principal. I know her very well. So I asked her the same question you asked me. That now, the government feed these people. She said ever since this program commenced, government have not for one day come to our school to feed these children. So who is government feeding? And 12 billion is being budgeted every month.
12 billion, I don't understand.
Every month to feed primary school children and secondary children across the nooks, across in every state in the country. Now, which mechanism or how do government bring about this school feeding? Who are in charge? Who do they give the contract? Which schools do they give this food to? Which schools? Government, let them say, because I believe if you want to feed these children, tell us which schools so that we can go there and monitor it. For I have never heard government feeding people in this Lagos state, school children. I start to be corrected. Now every policy.
Maybe Lagos is not captured.
Why would Lagos be captured? Okay, which state is captured?
I think my state, Abia State, is captured.
You claim you want to feed school children. Is Lagos, don't they have school children? Don't they have poor children in this Lagos state? Even the other states that is captured, how often do they feed them? Let's say once a week. Now, let's say once a month. I can bet you 2 years. The rest of the money would be channeled into someone's pocket. That is it. So now I think this school feeding to me is a scam. It should be scrapped. Because every policy government does here, every government policy government comes out with is to what enrich somewhat individuals. Some persons will make money out of the school feeding. 12 billion every month. How many children is being fed? And the coordinator is saying he does that every day. Who and who has he fed? I called someone in my village yesterday. He said this is the first time he's hearing this. That government feeds school children. Some persons don't even know that government feeds school children.
Some people don't
know. I told you, a principal, she's not aware that such program exists.
Yeah.
So now, what are we saying? So who is government capturing in this program? Who? What are they capturing? My brother, everything in Nigeria is fraud.
Okay, northern leaders ask Buhari to resign over the killings and insecurity. What will you say about that?
Why will he resign? Why will he resign? He has less than a year in his office, less than a year in office for him to leave your seat. So what? So of what use? Of what help? Of what benefit would he add to Nigeria if he resign? If he had wanted to resign, the northern leaders should have spoken up a long time ago. In 2019, why did they vote him again? These same leaders voted for Buhari again in 2019.
Same, not an
Same people. This same man dealt with them from 2015 to 2019. 2019, they went to the polling unit, still voted for him again. He won. If Buhari comes again, contest, he will still win. If Buhari comes again, my brother, Buhari will still win. He did not.
Wait. I see that even in Katsina State, APC swept all the local.
So, what are we saying? Let Buhari contest again. He did not. He will still win. They will start crying and say, let Buhari resign. My brother, the problem we are having is we ourselves. We saw that in the first time, a man did not perform. Why did you guys vote him again? Because of tribal politics. And my brother, that is what is killing Nigeria. A man that did not perform should be voted out of office. But no, the northern elders still went around, campaigned for him, voted for him, and now.
Are you saying that they are hypocrites?
Yeah. You don't need a soothsayer to tell you that they are hypocrites, northern elders. They are hypocrites. A man that has not performed in the first place, why did you vote for him again? And now are crying, he should resign. Resign, go where? Why is he not resigning? Buhari must completely stand up so that every Nigerian should feel the heat. Yes.
No, Buhari must resign because
no. He will not resign. Why? Why did he resign? In 2019, you know that Buhari did not perform. I am sure you did not vote for him. I did not vote for him. He did not vote for him. But these people voted for him, and now they are crying. Want to resign? No, he will not resign. Let him continue.
If they want him to resign, they know what to do. They need to lobby those in the house. They have
my brother, Buhari should not resign. Even if they lobby in the house or no lobby, Buhari should complete his tenure. Because we are here. We said, no. You are here in this country. When they were saying Buhari is the Messiah. Buhari, Sai Baba. Baba is the mini God. Baba is that. Baba is it. Baba will do everything. Baba said he will create 1 million jobs every month. I asked myself, how does he want to do that? Buhari said he will give our age parents 50,000 naira monthly. I was wondering, my brother, what did Buhari promise us? Buhari said he will make $1 equivalent to 1 naira. Buhari said he will build what? Refinery. Buhari said he will give us jobs. Buhari said nothing. Buhari said under 6 months his security will be wiped off. Fine. Nigerians were so gullible. We were fools then. In 2015, 4 years along the line, this same man came again. This same man promised you something. The first thing he could not fulfill that. Now I said, why would I vote for him again? But these northern people still voted for him again, and now they are crying. Who is playing the heat? The North. Who is having sleepless nights? The North. Who are they kidnapping? Who are they kidnapping? The North. Who is playing ransom? The North. No. See, at this point, if you stand for injustice, face the injustice. Yes. My brother, Buhari must complete it.
He must complete it.
No. Buhari must complete it. 8 years.
He has to resign.
He should not resign. No.
Because it's not affecting does not mean.
Who is not affecting me?
You just said that the only people facing it are
who is not affecting me? Am I not paying for food? Am I not paying for house rent? That economy is not affecting me. Do you have a job? Do I have a job?
Do not continue.
Do I have a job? Do I have a job? See, how much is a bag of rice? It's not inflation. So now 7 years, 7.5 years, you are not time to resign. Why is not resigning? Let us face it. Let's face it. So that Buhari can teach us sense. That one next we should vote for competent leaders.
Peter, Nigeria should avoid repeating mistakes of 2015 and 2019. Nigeria should avoid repeating mistakes of 2015 and 2019.
Yes, it's a very good word for.
So we have not learned our lesson yet. Let Buhari teach us.
That is what I'm saying. That there's only of Buhari. Buhari should resign because we all know the antecedents of Buhari, what he has done. See, it's only Nigeria economy has been plugged into recession twice. First was in 1983 by Buhari in 1983. Now in 2015, Buhari again twice. And now you are saying.
But Tinubu said he's a general that has come to our rescue.
Who?
Tinubu.
Well, I bet you that question should be directed to Tinubu. How far now? Buhari, Tinubu now has now become Minister of Condolence. He went to Jos yesterday to pay the governor a condolence visit because I'm a person located in Jos, 78. Buhari went to Tinubu went to Zamfara now to pay condolence. Tinubu has become condolence minister. I don't want to become president. This same problem, he prompts us. But my brother, it is time. Nigerians need to shine our eyes. Come 2023. Let us shun tribal politics. Shun tribal sentiment. Who is him? My brother, I've told you. Any candidate that can move forward is whom I will vote for. I've told you. My choice as it stands now is Peter. I've told you his choice. And if he does not get the ticket, if Peter does not get the ticket, if he does not get the ticket, and he does not decamp to any other party, I will vote for Atiku. Because I don't believe in sentiment. Sentiment, this one, now for my tribe, this one for my tribe. We also want the did in this country. And I was a Fulani man. He did well. So if Peter Obi, I pray that Peter Obi gets the tickets because I am convinced.
You're convinced?
I have this conviction that if Peter Obi gets the tickets, he would make Nigeria a very envious place for what investors to come in because he has because see a man that ruled Anambra State and left 76 billion naira. He did not meet any money. He did not Anambra State. In Nigeria, a man that after leaving office, EFCC did not run after him. You know what happens? Majority of the governors in Nigeria, after your tenure, EFCC will be waiting for you. You know that before you hand over, just like the immediate past governor of Anambra. On the day he handed over, he wanted to run. But Peter Obi has challenged that whosoever has any information that is stolen money or embezzled money, let the person come out publicly. No, he had to see as well for one day in that him. A man that has driver's business. And then he is able to manage it.
It would be unfortunate if the North does not vote him. It would be unfortunate if the North does not vote Peter Obi.
You know that the Northern people, they are primitive set of people. They don't embrace modern technology and they don't like development. If any Northern man does not vote Peter Obi, that means he wants to remain inside shackles and poverty. Because who else? Is it my professor Oshibajo that was set to go to the market and share traders' money, market money. Governance is beyond coming to speak English. Tell us how you want to achieve it. Don't tell us don't speak grammar for us. Tell us how to Peter Obi highlighted how you want to run the economy yesterday. Did you watch it? And I see it. He saw the modes. Yeah. He saw what he will do. He highlighted it. So it shows a man that has vision. A man that not see. This is what Buhari. There are 6 months. There's no minister. 6 months, there's no minister. A man that has plan. We see from the antecedents, you shall know them. He's ready. And please, I want to appeal to Nigeria. Let us give him that chance for him to make Nigeria a better place. I believe.
Okay.
Peter Obi is the choice. Come on, God. Look at this man. Look at this man. Come on, that's our place. I would.
Lastly, let's talk about NIN. You see, people are finding it difficult. So even though they have connected their SIM, they have linked their SIM, it's not working. See the crowd.
NIN staff now, they are now hush puppy. NIN staff now is making close to 100K.
If you have a girlfriend that is working in NIN,
anybody you have now that is working in that place now, they are making money every day. Yes, NIN is making money now every day. Now, what is the need of depriving people from their sin when terrorists still make calls? Now, yesterday, soldiers arrested a man that wanted to go and pay ransom to the bandits. Arrested him. But now, why can't you arrest this bandit?
Sorry.
Excuse me. A man that wanted to go and pay ransom just so that his son could be freed. He was arrested on the way. Now
we have Gumi.
Now we have Gumi. 24 hours now. Why haven't those bandits been arrested? This same you block NIN, you block account, you block phone. Bandits will still get their money. Bandits. Tiwa Danjuma said bandit is working with Nigerian army. Former chief of army staff, Tiwa Danjuma.
A long time
Tiwa
ago.
Danjuma. He said Nigerian army is working with bandits. Bandit Nigerian army. Nigerian army, bandit is Nigerian army. Nigerian army is bandit. So forget.
Thank you very much, Mr. David. I have my brother. Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, the world at large.
We are talking about the competence of Buhari. He has been asked to resign.
Well, from the word go, those who have always listened to me talk, and those who have always been with me, from the very day before the election, I have told Nigerians that Buhari would never and can never and will never save Nigeria. And I'm not mixing my words. Because it is a clear, like I said examples those days. I said before you bring in a man, you have to go back to history. And history has always said it, that Buhari has been a failure. Going back to 1983, he brought in hunger. And in 1983, Idi Agbon ruled Nigeria. And now, coming back to 2015, he imported the hunger back to Nigeria in 2015. And that is what we've been. And then going through antecedent. A man who left the quarters of government since 1993 or there, and he cannot even boast of an investment of his own that can say that this. He came in 2014 to tell us that he has no house. He came in 2014 to tell us he has no investment, that he's only got cattle. His cattle were never more than 100. And you tell me such a person is a person who cannot even manage his own economy, his own personal economy. How a local government economy?
The Nigerians voted him. 19 second time.
This is what happened. No, 2019 he was never voted in. The election was rigged. We all knew the mandate of 2019 was Atiku Obi's mandate. But because that was why INEC stupidly could come out and say that they had no server. Even when we knew what the results were. Because that was why if you look at the content, so when you look at the way the election went through, and you look at the way the Supreme Court also strike out the case, and you get to understand that it is a clear win case. It is a clear winning for Atiku, but because the court, the judges have been bought over by the government, and that's why I will continue to say we will not have a better government, we will not have a better Nigeria until when the 3 tiers of government is set free. When we decide to have a better country, is the day the judiciary will be independent, the day the legislators will be independent, the day the executive will be independent, the day Buhari will not appoint a Supreme Court judge, a day the presidency will not appoint the Attorney General, the day of the Federation. That is the day we have begun to have an autonomy. The day the presidents cannot decide what happens in the court. That is when we begin to have a better government. When the judge will close his eyes and say, I am taking a judgment based on the constitution of the land and not based on the script written by the person who brought him into office. That is the day we begin to talk about having a better society. Because when you say when an election is ringed and you have been taken and it's been taken to court and the incumbent president has already written a script and given to the judge, and the judge is acting based on the script. Like we could all see what happened during the case of the Imo State governorship election tribunal. When imagine a day when the judge who refused to pass verdict against Emeka Ihedioha was smuggled out of the court, and the chief judge of the federation could come out, the attorney general of the federation could come out and say that there's an issue that one judge fell ill. Who does that? Where could such a thing happen?
No Supreme Court.
So that is why we say that we cannot have a better society where the arm of the judiciary is not well.
Let's talk about NIN. What do you think with the way things are going?
It's a political strategy.
Now, NIN, like I will also say, NIN is not a bad thing, but it also, with the way everything is going, it is not a planned issue. Now that's why I will say, if you go back to 2012, when NIN was introduced by Goodluck Jonathan, it was brought in as a way to curb crime, as a way to monitor every criminal activity in the country. But the present day government came in, they were all kicking against it. And today they came to imbibe in that same, that, because if you look at, I would still say, everything Buhari has done was just what he inherited. He never came in with his own ideology. At the moment he finished executing Jonathan's leftover, there's nothing to deliver. There's nothing to offer again. Everybody now saw his loopholes. Now, I said the other time, I registered a SIM in my name. I lost my phone. I went back to Airtel to retrieve my line. Airtel told me that the SIM was not my own. And I asked the question. Now, this SIM has been linked with my NIN, has been linked with my BVN, has been linked with all my information, and now you now say this SIM is not my own. Because of how vital that SIM was, I had to go and swear affidavit to reclaim it. Now, the next question is this: I have linked my NIN to this SIM. What happens if that SIM? What happens if that SIM gets missing? Would that SIM be given to me free of charge? Now, the issue of that after 3 months, if a SIM is not being used, it will now be recycled and be given to another person. Has that issue been taken care of? Because if I have linked my NIN to a SIM, it means that SIM becomes my own permanently for life. Nobody has the right. Nobody has the right to have that SIM. So unless if those issues have been addressed, because if a SIM is being given to me, and maybe I go out of the country, and I go out of the country for like 3 months, and Airtel has the right to recycle that SIM and give it to somebody else. And by the time I could come back, that somebody has perpetrated an act with that SIM, and I come back to bear a grunt that I know nothing about. So all of these things are what should be looked into before you could say, yes, I should, an NIN is authentic. But by the intention at which the NIN is meant for is a just one. It is not, because there has to be a system at which everybody has to be checkmate. But before I leave, I would like to drop a word for Nigerians. I think, looking at the politics of today, I overheard the issue of Peter Obi and the likes and its likes. Going by the antecedent of Saraki has gone back and redressed and understood that there is a potentiality in Nigeria and not on individual. That is why he's moving for a consensus candidate of Peter Obi and the Sokoto governor in the person of Tambowa. So now, and if you look at that, I think there's a credibility in that candidature. If they would actually allow that to fly. A Peter Obi has shown a credibility. A Peter Obi will bring to the platform. A Peter Obi will bring back trust. I know that they may use security to threaten him if he wins the presidency. But in the terms of economy, I tell you, there might be security issues. But if a man is what will make a security issue happen is if there's hunger in the land. If I am filled up, I will not be able to. I will not want to commit crime. God bless us.
Thank you very much. I'm Mr.
Good morning. Come on for my side,
Good morning.
I don't see the
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Oluwawan.
You don't ask for that. Good
morning, Oluwawan. What is the language? What's the language?
The language we take for the streets, and the street we have to buy in the street.
Boys are not smiling.
No, boys are not smiling, but boys are still smiling. Because now we are going to receive the land. Say land, NIN. Now NIN with NIN, there is insecurity everywhere.
With the NIN, there's still insecurity.
See what they done to Plateau. They are massacre half of Plateau, half of the state.
No, 78.
Yes. That is half of the state. Massacre, half of the state. You bury mass burial. Today, where is the government?
Yes, they are burying them.
78 mass burial. Probably the one where they enter half of Plateau state. That is agenda from the Muslims, agenda from the Fulani Caliphate. And Buhari is our president. What is he doing? He's doing nothing until they finish everybody. It's very bad.
So what? Okay, you say what?
See what is happening. And they are letting Nigeria to be suffering unnecessarily. If you are not killed, you'll be in the queue for 3 days. Because of what? NIN. It's a vagabond language. You just cancel it forever. It doesn't make any sense. What does it make? Look at people.
It's something that is good so that we can.
What does it bring?
We can monitor.
What did you monitor? What did you monitor? Did you monitor the criminality or the money laundering? You don't monitor anything. They are stealing us. They have looted all our treasury and they are clearing our people. So what is the meaning of it? You say you want to track criminals, you want to track kidnappers, you want to track money laundering. All of them are existence. So it doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense. Okay, what northern leaders are saying Buhari should resign?
Every time Buhari should resign, Buhari is hungry lion. Buhari is above them. Why can't you all northern leaders go to Aso Rock? Go and mark roadblock in the entrance to Aso Rock. Say Buhari resign with immediate effect. Sit at home, say Buhari should resign, and people are dying every day. It doesn't make any sense.
Are you saying that Buhari is more than them?
Buhari is powerful more than them.
Powerful
more than them. This is about the fourth or the fifth time. Say Buhari should resign, Buhari should resign. And people are killing. The killing continues. So Buhari is like a small god. We're just waiting for him to complete his tunnel and go home. Say Buhari should resign, that one is impossible. You can't resign.
So he's a small god.
He's a lord. He's a killer lord. Who are dying, nobody doing him anything. Go to west, go to east, go to south, go to north. Who are dying every day. Now Buhari still remains Buhari until 2023 May. He will go home. He can't stay in office beyond that date anymore.
What will you say?
A good person will come.
What will you say about Peter Obi?
Peter Obi.
People are saying that he's a good candidate for presidency.
He's a good candidate for the presidency, but they can never allow Peter Obi to be president of Nigeria now. So the situation now is the Northerner, they wanted to come back to power, but it's impossible for them to come back. That one will not be allowed. Peter Obi is a good choice because he was a governor before. We see his record, but they should allow him to be good because the fight is going to be brutal. Without brutality fight, Nigeria will never change. There must be sacrifice. Because the language now, people are dying like fowl every day. The other day, kidnapping, airport, the other day, train, massacre. Now, community. Tomorrow we hear another one. 78, not animal. Just bury in the grave. Gone like that. And here I fuck up, say fuck all your Buhari. We are waiting for the March, May. You are going with your people. Because Europe is just like it's above the law. The president will be sitting, people will be dying. We are saying, okay, we will find a solution. What solution? Nigeria state is a failed state.
Okay.
Why is a failure? It's a 100% failure.
Lastly, what do you advise Nigerians once again?
Nigeria should come outside in a mass and put those people out. Go and get your PVC, I'll get my own. We must move them out of the corridor of power. They are bad cartels. They are killers. You can't allow killers to remain there because otherwise they will suck all our blood. They have to go.
We will survive. We will survive. We will survive.
You are welcome.
Thank you very much. Alaji, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Alaji, you know we are going somewhere.
I know. But let me tell you, I want to greet some people, and I want to tell some people that it's not easy to live in Nigeria. When somebody is talking on the mic, facing the whole world, you don't need to call somebody rude. You don't need to attack that person. It's not easy. If you want to know what we are going through in Nigeria, come back from UK, America, anywhere, and join us here. Pay school fees, pay house rent, and feel the government of the day. Why, Jarek? Why abusing? To Niger, why abusing? It's not right. Watch us. Give us what? Support. Support us so that we will say more. Like me. My spirit is falling down anytime I see Jarek attacking people. It's not good. My spirit is going low. It's not easy to live in Nigeria. It's not easy to come out and talk. I'm telling you, I'm just trying to tell you, correct you. It's not right. Don't abuse Kule, don't abuse this, don't abuse Rap, don't abuse David, don't abuse Chigoze, don't abuse us. We are here to help you in particular. If we are not telling you that there is insecurity, we run into wrong hand. So I like all of you. Good morning, everybody. Christian, and good morning to you.
NIN, people are still...
NIN. Over how many students are kidnapped? Have been kidnapped in Zamfara? Yes. Zamfara. College of Technology. NIN. Over how many students now, currently, as I'm talking to you, and northern elders, they are warning Buhari that there is so much killing, so much abduction, so much waste of money over insurgency in the north. Go and resign.
Continue.
Go and resign. Buhari to resign. It is time for Buhari to tender what? His resignation letter. Hands up. Somebody more competent should take over from this man. People are dying. Our brothers are dying in the north. In Niger State, how many communities have been taken? By what? Kidnappers. Do you know how many that were beheaded? As I'm talking, I know that is among the questions you ask me. In Plateau State, 24 were killed in Benue State as I'm talking to you now yesterday. I saw them. People were beheaded in Plateau State yesterday. What? People, Nigerians are dying more. See, the war in Russia and the Ukraine. People are not dying that way. No, not the same. No, not the same. Nigerians are dying in their tents, hundreds every week. And the Nigerian government are not coming out with the actual figure. 100 will be killed. 100 die. Nigerian government will tell you 24. If anybody voice out, they will go and arrest him. Are we not running jihadist government? Is Boko Haram project not ending in time? I think this Boko Haram project is supposed to end by now. Why are we running this? The only project, yes, I saw one of our viewers. They said, because someone else said they have not been able to come out with any agenda or project. That boy that spoke that time. That whatever Buhari is doing now is what Jonathan has left over. The leftover from Jonathan. So that guy was saying here, their project is Boko Haram. And it's true. Yes, only Boko Haram. No other project. No other project. Because everything. Look at the railway. Amechi built railway in the north. Northern elders are endorsing him over railway what? Rail line from Nigeria to Niger. Northern elders blindly, myopically. They endorsing Amechi that he did well. Who is the owner of that project? Railway line. Jonathan. So they continue from where Jonathan stopped. They have not been able to come out with their own agenda. Nothing. Buhari has done nothing. It is only Boko Haram and what? Kidnappers and bandits. Bandits is a new project initiated by Buhari because he invited them to fight Jonathan in 2015. He could not settle them. And they are now, what? Attacking, oppressing, killing Northerners. And I tell you that many Northerners, outside indigenes, have come out on online and tell the whole world that, look, the people that Buhari invited to fight Jonathan, he failed to pay them. They are the one kidnapping. They are the one killing us. They are the one acting like terrorists and headers. Because Buhari, El-Rufai Malami could not settle those people well. I think understand. So, for Jonathan to have handed over, to make a call and concede defeat, he considered defeat because he doesn't want blood of innocent Nigerians. He doesn't, as I'm talking to you now. Which is why they invited him again. He said no. He gave them conditions. Now, they use trailer or tipper, attack his convoy. 2 or 3 people died. You look at it, Nigeria has become a war zone. People are not dying like that in Ukraine and Russia. No. If anybody is mistakenly saying that, they're not dying. Thank you. They're not dying. They're not dying. This is a war era in Nigeria. Nigeria is under attack by people from the Sahel country. I've been repeating it. I've been saying it repeatedly. People from Sahel countries are dominated by the Fulani. They are attacking Nigerians daily basis. People are dying. Niger State has been taken. Niger State is gone. Traders, farmers, they pay what? To kidnappers, to bandits, to headers every day. Farmers, if you cultivate a rice farm, after harvesting, what do? You get like 100 bags. You pay tithe of 10 bags to bandits. Or else, they will kill the whole farmers. That is what is going on. That is what is proliferating in the north now. Boko Haram are collecting tolls from the axis of northeastern Nigeria. That's Borno State. They are collecting tolls. They help people to what? To bring in rice, to bring in fish from Chad, from Cameroon. You pay, or you use Boko Haram as escorts that will escort you. They know them with their scarf. You can see Boko Haram with your eyes. Police, soldiers, they look at Boko Haram. What a country! We need somebody that will come and tidy up this country. There are a lot of rubbish, garbage that are needed to be what? Get rid of. And we need somebody that is competent. We need an educated president. When you mean education, I don't mean go read book and become what? Alhaji pastor, Alhaji professor, professor this. No, I mean somebody that is sound in mind. Okay, education, remove writing and reading. Are you talking about Peter Obi? Are you talking about Peter Obi? Peter Obi is sound. Over soundness is the sickness of that mind. Obi is suffering from over sound of the mind, soundness of the mind. Obi, if you read Obi's profile, nobody in Nigeria is qualified to do Nigeria now. If you follow Obi's previous performance in Anambra State, you will find out that nobody, even Atiku, even Obasanjo could not come closer to. Because Obi, I am boasting that Anambra State is having investment outside this country. It's because of Obi. Obi invested in favor of my state. It's not for his pocket though. It could be another person. Those oil wells in Angola, the money would have been going into their pockets. Obi invested for Anambra in Angola. Go and investigate. Anambra State, as a state, has nothing. And from that state, now motor park, Aboro, we they collect money. Aboro, make I use common language. We they collect money from what? Motor parks. That is where our revenue is coming from. We are very poor. That's it. Obi did what? Oh my God. Obi left almost 100 billion. Obi did not borrow money from anywhere. Anambra State did not hold money. That is a manager. Somebody that can manage well. Obi is a management artist, professional. A snake is a good artist on what? Escape. If you keep a snake inside the house, Oga, lock everywhere in that room. Lock windows. If snake want to go, let me tell you, snake will go. It doesn't disappear. All those cracks, snake will do what? It will just dematerialize itself and follow that crack. I'm trying to describe Obi for you. How his managerial ability is what I'm trying to compare with the snake, action. See, Obi is the most qualified Christian. You don't need to ask me any question. I
want you to.
Atiku is working for nothing. See, Ochibanjo is working for nothing. Tinubu is wasting his time. What is the name of this man? Ochibanjo, the other man. So, Kwankwaso, Dan Kwambo, Oga, Nigerians, we are not going to repeat the mistake of 2015/2019. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, for Mr. Jenny asking for David Oluwa's account numbers: 2191 480 133, 2191 480 133. Once again, 2191 480 133. Zenith Bank, David Sampson, and also David's number 070 87088134, 07087088134. Happy Sachigozi. Good morning, Mr. Gozi.
Yeah, good morning, President. And to last was good morning.
Have you registered the NIN? Are you linked NIN?
Yeah, I did that.
I wanted to ask you on what for those that have not linked the NIN, they are complaining on different things they experience at the centers.
But what difference does that make? And what exact purpose does that solve? Or problem does that solve? You see, the problem of Nigerian is that those who call themselves leaders are not honest to themselves, are not sincere to themselves. I have been a customer relation in one of the years, one of the leading telecommunication in Nigeria, and I've also been a call center agent. So I have seen the process of initiating call and how you will be able to track any call to some level of accuracy. So the problem is not NIM, neither is the problem whatever. Somebody from Giwa local government in Kaduna State said that when they were putting call, this was called to the army headquarters and to other military personnel or force personnel. He said they couldn't access those. There was no network to access that. Why Pantamis remains the Minister of Communication or Minister of Communication or whatever you call him. You see, there is no sincerity on the part of those who say they are governments or leaders. And in as much as we don't have credible leaders, people who are driven by patriotism and not selfish interests, not to promote their senses of personal interest. I bet you, with my life, Nigeria will never move forward. It is not a surprise, it is not a cause, but these are realities. You see? A mango tree cannot just produce a guava tree. It's not possible. Nigeria is a product of its leadership. So what you are seeing today can never be altered except we alter those within the corridor of power. And unfortunately, they have become monsters and they have economic advantage to their own advantage. Economic power, political power to their advantage. So the only thing that can dislodge them now is revolution. The entire regions, the entire support citizens should clamor, should call, should protest for revolution by way of calling for referendum. This is the only way they can take over what have been stolen from them. Their mandate, their governance, their future, their resources that was meant to serve everybody, that was meant to improve the lot of everyone, has ended up in the hands of less than 5%, less than 3% of the Nigerian populace are in control of this wealth you are talking about. You see, and people are wallowing. Over 90% of Nigerians are poor. You see, there is unemployment, there is underemployment. When your take home is not enough to take you home, then you are relatively poor. You see, there is no any conscious attempt or deliberate move on the part of those useless elements in government to pull the teeming population of this country out of poverty by way of creating enabling environments. Last time I said there are some good Nigerians who, of course, are in diaspora, who wanted to invest in this country, who wanted to contribute to national growth and development. But because they feel, or of course, based on the realities, that their business or their life cannot be guaranteed, the safety of their life and property cannot be guaranteed. We are not talking about multinational, international business moguls that may want to invest. These are Nigerians in diaspora who wanted to invest in their own country, but they are complacent, they are indifferent about that because of what is going on. You cannot drive any viable economy without security. When you cannot guarantee the safety and of the life of your support citizens, not even foreigners, and their property, then what is the essence of government? What does government represent? The simple definition of government. And some people are still promoting one Nigeria. On what basis? Look at those that we adopted, those ladies that we have adopted, our students. And we want you to just use 30 seconds to ponder what they may have been going through as it stands now. And yet, within the Nigerian territory, and you have people who call themselves president, who call themselves SSS, and helpless in the midst of all this. And you are still calling for referendum. You are still calling for election. You see, I listened to my brother Ralph. He said that P2B did excellently, marvelously well. I may not be in doubt of that. But after he left Anambra, what happens? We are told that Anambra was indebted to the tune of hundreds of billions. What does that simply suggest? There is no consistency, there is no progress. Government should have been progressive. So it is not a matter of function of who is there. Yes, P2B did well for the Anambarians. The next person came and squandered everything, and the Anambra was indebted to the tune of hundreds of billions. So what happens within the interface of 8 years? They were now brought back to zero level, to status quo. It is not what is fundamentally wrong is the system. If the system is not rejigged, if the system is not addressed, we don't have a system that can drive a viable and sustainable economy. Where, of course, those who call themselves leaders or political appointees can be held responsible. You see, those who are entrusted with our commonwealth can be held responsible. Otherwise, we are just wasting time, and there is no future in sight. It's very unfortunate.
Actually, we understand what most Nigerians understand what you just said, because people seem to be living in denial.
Of course, that will continue due to their level of reasoning, due to their sense of perception. Because it is coming from Chigozie, I think they should kill him. But the reality will continue to stare at us. There is no government, there is no leadership, there is no society that can move forward with this configuration of Nigeria. Look at our sisters are now being held hostage, molested, sexual. I wonder the kind of psychological, physiological damage or trauma these people may have been going through.
Okay.
These are just one out of millions, and nobody cares.
many might happen. We don't know what will happen the next minute.
Many are happening. People are killed. Their houses have been razed. Even children have been slaughtered at the mercy of sacrifice, at the mercy of promoting one Nigeria. Something that is not war, something that is dead. So the only way forward for humanity, I continue to speak in as much as God gives me the opportunity. Call for referendum to discuss the continued existence of Nigeria. Otherwise, everybody will part his way for good. I have made it clear that referendum does not suggest a permanent enemy. Rather, we can decentralize power and every region can move at its pace. Otherwise, we are calling for already a disaster that is already catching up with us. And mind you, instead of Buhari to hand over to Osibanjo, he will derive pleasure in handing over to the Islamic jihadists. It's very unfortunate.
Thank you very much.
The only way this mirrors of problem can be stopped is when everybody parts his way, so that we can have respect and dignity for human life, which everybody has lost. It's just that we are fortunate that it's not yet our turn. But when we keep on delaying, don't be surprised. Whatever comes around will go around. But then, I may be in Biafran land.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Jenny, you can reach Oluwawan through David. You can reach Oluwawan through David. You can reach out to Oluwawan through David. The number that I called, you can reach out to Oluwawan. Breaking news, bandits have invaded the residential area in Safeluk town and abducted 5 students of the College of Health Science and Technology in Zamfara State. The incident happened in the early hours of Wednesday. A source told Channels Television that the students were abducted when heavily armed men stormed their residence outside the school campus. He said the bandits could not gain entrance into the school due to the heavy presence of security personnel. Currently, students have been held hostage in Zamfara State College of Health Science and Technology, SAFE. Okay, we've come to the end of Bystander and New Stanza. Once again, I'll say thank you for being part of the program. I am Christian Chuko. Bye for now, till tomorrow, as we meet for another exciting edition of the program Bystanders at the New Stanza. Bye for now.